on the debate tonight. Over 100 deaths in 16 days. Bihar is witnessing one of its worst encephalitis outbreaks this year. First, the Nitish government was caught napping and completely exposed. Now, the state government's indifference is on full display. When the State Health Minister Mangal Pandey first surfaced earlier this Friday, his convoy was spotted blocking an ambulance at the Muzaffarpur hospital, which is the epicenter of the outbreak. Yesterday, in a meeting to take stock of the situation, he was heard asking the cricket match score.
4 wicket.
As the state government fails Bihar completely, the centre also has blood on its hands. Union Health Minister, who admits he had visited the very same hospital in 2014 and promised assistance, has done little to improve healthcare here in Muzaffarpur.
ऑलरेडी हमारी टीम्स तो पहले दिन से वहाँ पर काम कर रही हैं। जितना कुछ हमें करना है वो हम बहुत कुछ पहले भी कर चुके हैं। बाकायदा टीम्स वहीं पर हमारी स्टेशन्ड हैं, वहीं पर काम कर रही हैं। मैं स्वयं वहाँ पर होकर आया हूँ। 4 घंटा लगाकर मैंने एक एक मरीज़, उसके माता पिता से और उसकी जो केस शीट है उसको स्टडी किया है।
Mirror now asks, was the Nitish government unprepared for the encephalitis outbreak? Was the government distracted by the Lok Sabha elections? And is the Nitish government not taking the outbreak seriously enough?
So encephalitis occurs on an annual basis. And this year in Bihar, it was a lot worse than the previous few years. There's also an example to be learned from in Uttar Pradesh, where Yogi Adityanath, one must accept, post the terrible outbreak of encephalitis last year, has managed to keep the numbers down this year. So it's not like it hasn't been done before. What makes matters worse is the serious lapses we have right now. I want to just play this out for you. Ashwini Choubey, who is the Minister of State for Health for the Government of India, quoted a few days ago, apart from the fact that he was yawning and napping and looked completely uninterested in the problem, was also quoted saying on camera that it was because of these national elections that they were distracted and they weren't able to prepare for this health emergency. Listen it.
बीमारी होता है। पिछले बार घटा था, 2-3 सालों में काफ़ी घटा है। वही पदाधिकारी थे जिन्होंने काफ़ी योगदान दिया है। ऐसी बात नहीं, चुनाव की व्यस्तता के कारण जनप्रतिनिधि हो या कार्यकर्ता हो या पदाधिकारी हो, सब लोगों का ध्यान कहीं न कहीं ज़्यादा चुनाव के ओर चला जाता है। और अभी ये वक्त था तो स्वाभाविक है, जागरण हुआ है। जागरण के कार्यक्रम भी बिहार सरकार ने चलाया है पहले भी। अब उसको और त्वरित गति से, विशेष रूप से जो प्रधान मुख्यमंत्री जी ने भी अभी कहा कि हेल्थ के लिए हेल्थ अवेयरनेस एंड हेल्थ के लिए जो पीपुल्स अवेयरनेस एंड पीपुल्स पार्टिसिपेशन, लोक जागरण, लोक सहभाग.
Unbelievable. So here are the excuses we've been offered. There was an election on, so the babies are dying. We'd rather be more interested in the cricket score or taking a nap or the fact that the ICU was not properly enabled. Remember, India only spends about 1.2% of the total GDP on healthcare. That's sharply lower than the international average of 6%. Sri Lanka alone spends about 4 times that much. Why is health such a poor sector? And why do our children have to pay the price? On the show with me, Dr. Sameer Dalwai, spokesperson of the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Dr. V.K. Monga is the chairperson of the IMA Hospital Board of India. Anjali Nair, Executive Vice President of Global Health Strategies, and we also have Abhishek Mishra of the BJP. I must point out that we tried very hard to get a representative of the Bihar government on this program, but none of them were available. Maybe they're watching the cricket at this point. Anjali Nair, I'll start with you. It's important for our audience to understand this. Could these deaths have been avoided? Now the death toll is well above 100. 100 babies have died in Bihar. Could this have been avoided?
Of course, deaths can always be avoided, and Japanese encephalitis, acute encephalitis, is a big challenge. We know that this happens year on year, and we know that it's not just something that you can work on as a reaction, you have to prevent it. The majority of the encephalitis cases and causes are unknown, but the majority of the encephalitis cases happen due to Japanese encephalitis. So you have to make sure that vaccination drives are there. And you just mentioned UP. We have to learn from UP that UP has gone ahead and covered every child with JE vaccination. Not only that, they've also had a very, very strong IC program. The government recognizing that, the central government recognizing that JE and acute encephalitis are very complex, has set up a national prevention of encephalitis and JE program. And that involves number of ministries, not only the health and family welfare, but women and child development, safe drinking water, urban planning. So these ministries have to come back and regularly start monitoring that certain things have taken place. Sanitation is a big issue. Messaging to the parents is a big issue. There is a lot of news articles that saying it's dehydration, ORS, but I think it's planning and prevention on a regular basis in areas that you know these outbreaks can happen.
Well, we have a question from one of our viewers saying that is it related to the heat wave or is it related to lychees? Anjali Nair?
Yeah, so encephalitis has various causes. It's parasites, bacteria, viruses. The heat wave adds to it because it adds the dehydration and therefore it becomes worse. So I don't think it's just the heat wave. There has to be a cause, and it's parasital or it is viral or bacterial, and sometimes even fungal infections. So for example, UP has encouraged, told parents not to get their children sleeping on the mud floor, to make sure that they have ORS on a regular basis, particularly during during the summer season. So it's not just because of dehydration.
Well, we also have the doctors with us. Dr. V.K. Monga is with us right now. Dr. Monga, what could the Bihar government have done more? Could the central government have done more? Because we know that the health minister, Mr. Vardhan, had in fact promised back in 2014 that more would be done to prevent the deaths that are taking place because of encephalitis in Bihar.
As a doctor and a public health expert, I believe that this is really unfortunate that even after 71 years of independence of the country, people are still dying of a disease which could be prevented. And it has been happening year after year. I mean, it's not a new disease in that area. And, we were just listening that, I mean, there are various types of encephalitis, but this particular encephalitis is supposed to come from lychee eating, basically. When children who are malnourished, who don't eat much in the night, they take lychee at night. There are two types of toxins which are released, and they cause hypoglycemia, that is the sugar levels go very low. And these children become unconscious, they have high-grade fever, they have convulsions, and ultimately everything goes into their head. And the cause of death is encephalitis, because, I mean, and more or less there is no definitive treatment for this. It is more of a supportive treatment. People report late to the hospitals. But definitely you cannot say that the government cannot do anything in this respect. If you know that this is a disease which occurs at this time, there should be mass awareness programs, the malnutrition should be treated, there should be more number of beds in the hospitals, ICU should be better equipped, and their ambulance services, and I think the ASHA workers and the local persons who are working in those villages and the small towns, they should be educated enough and aware enough that if such symptom occurs, they should be definitely straightway taken to a big hospital, not to a local quack or local Ayurvedic doctor, because this is a disease which is an emergency. I mean, you have to take the person to the hospital, the survival chances increase if the patient, if the child gets immediate attention and definitive treatment, and there is a good ICU. Unfortunately, in this area, there are not many ICU beds, and whatever ICU beds they have, there are not many ventilators also, because most of the children may require ventilator support also. So this is definitely unfortunate. I wouldn't say that whose failure is this, but the total health system is to be blamed for this. I'm a doctor, I will not talk politics about it, but definitely this is very unfortunate. Children, for no fault of theirs, are dying because of a disease which can be prevented.
Very well said. In fact, when I bring in Abhishek Mishra of the BJP, Mr. Mishra, I'm just going to play out some sound bites for you, and I want you to respond to them. I want you to help us understand that when 100 babies are dying, what are these responses that we're hearing from the government that is responsible for these babies? Can we play those out again for Mr. Mishra, please?
चार विकेट कनेक्ट हो गया चार विकेट कनेक्ट हो गया
बीमारी होता है। पिछले बार घटा था, 2-3 सालों में काफ़ी घटा है। वही पदाधिकारी थे जिन्होंने काफ़ी योगदान दिया है। ऐसी बात नहीं, चुनाव की व्यस्तता के कारण जनप्रतिनिधि हो या कार्यकर्ता हो या पदाधिकारी हो, सब लोगों का ध्यान कहीं न कहीं ज़्यादा चुनाव की ओर चला जाता है। और अभी ये वक्त था तो
Mr. Mishra, you are on screen and I'm playing these bites for your benefit. Is there something more interesting on your cell phone right now than the 100 children in Bihar that have just died?
No, I'm reading the data sent by Mirror team on this issue. So I have to read that. I want to know what have we compiled for the benefit of the viewers. Yeah. So I've heard what they have said, and I'm also reading the data of your team, so I can answer your queries better. Yeah.
You're reading the data of the team now?
I've heard what the leaders have said. I've heard.
Okay. I'm glad you used the word leaders. Please explain to me why, for the ministers at this point, the cricket score is more important at a meeting about the deaths of children than finding a solution for the deaths of children.
The Honorable Union Health Minister, he visited the hospital, the Shri Krishna Hospital, where maximum deaths have occurred. He constituted a team immediately of the experts from the Central Hospital in Delhi, the AIIMS, as well as the Bihar board, as well as from the Vector-Borne Institute. So
he also did that in 2014 and promised to solve the problems in 2014, which he has not done. So he can make as many promises as he wants, but they're going to be absolutely meaningless unless he actually does something about it.
Let me complete, Phil. Please let me complete, Phil. Yeah. So the central government, at a war footing level, in the shortest time possible, has done whatever it can be done. I see it's a grave issue, it's a serious issue, children's lives are at stake. Everybody understands the pain, the trauma faced by the families. We all understand that how much of a responsibility it is to save each and every life. Hence the health minister went himself there, stood there, ensured an emergency meeting there. All doctors were activated, all the standard operating procedures were taught. So,
no, hang on. First of all, let me point out to you that this is a disease that occurs every year. Let me point out to you that there is a vaccination and there are precautionary measures that can be taken. Let me also point out to you that the Minister of Health State, the Government of India, has gone on record to say that you got distracted by the elections and didn't do any work. Why should we be grateful for a visit from a minister? Please tell me.
The Cabinet Minister, Faye. I'm referring to the Cabinet Minister concerned, Harshvardhan ji, who has come from Delhi to visit the patient. He has addressed the press conference. No, Phil, let me reply. No, Phil, let me complete. I think if you become aggressive, it's a very serious topic. It's a painful topic. I'm pained to even speak. I can feel the pain of children. So please don't be aggressive today, because I have to be very calm to give reply on this. Come on, these are not political issues, about people's life. Please, let me reply in a calm manner. I am very emotional. I feel the pain of the children, and hence I am not able to, be aggressive as you,
All right, okay. Nihora Yadav is on the phone line right now. 1 second, Mr. Mishra. यादव जी हमारे साथ जोड़ने के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद. Mr. Yadav is a representative. Okay, he's disconnected. Very difficult to get answers out of government today. But please tell me, and since you are telling us that Mr. Harshvardhan made, did us a massive favor by flying from Delhi out to Bihar and into Patna. Mr. Mishra, let me ask you this question. In 2014, the same Mr. Harshvardhan promised a 5-year action plan, a dedicated ward for encephalitis in Muzaffarpur, a dedicated surveillance system to track the outbreak of encephalitis in Bihar. He said, and I quote, "I have instructed officials in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh to take it up like an emergency, giving 100% immunization coverage to districts in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh is an absolute must." In his visit in the last 2 days, he has turned around and said that the ICU facilities are not adequate, that you need a 100-bed intensive care ICU facility in SKMCH within a year in order to provide treatment to AES patients. Now, should we take his first promise seriously or his second promise seriously?
No, Faye, you have to understand, in Uttar Pradesh, the Bharatiya Janata Party government has successfully ensured that all the children are vaccinated, and even the World Health Organization and UNESCO has told openly at a global forum that what the UP government has done should be seen across the world. So you have to understand, the will is there, intent is there, and we have already delivered in Uttar Pradesh. Now with regards to Bihar, there is definitely, as the doctors also are saying, there was a heat and humid condition. It was to a large extent. Yes, there could have been taken better precautionary measures to prevent, but yes, it's a tragedy, it's a calamity. No words can describe the pain the children and the families are feeling, and hence I say our central government and state government, the Bihar minister, Mr. Mangal Pandey also, they are all doing their best. And just as in Uttar Pradesh, we have removed, and the viewers of India must know, UP had a maximum cases, such cases, encephalitis.
So what you're saying is, so what you're saying, Mr. Mishra, is that as long as if there is a Bihar, if there is a BJP government in the state, you will do the work. If it is a non-BJP government, you will not do the work. You're saying basically that Nitish Kumar's JDU government in Bihar is inefficient.
Uttar Pradesh. No, Faye. So
if it can be done in Uttar Pradesh, why can't it be done in Bihar?
And we'll do it in Bihar. Yes.
So, okay, so 100 babies have died so far. How many need to die in order for you to do it in Bihar? 200? 250? 300?
Faye, don't ask me this question. It's a painful question. No, Faye.
I'm so glad you're pained, Mr. Mishra. I'll tell you who's more pained. The parents who've lost 100 babies in Bihar. Stop giving me lip service. The truth is the government made promises that it did not keep. Sameer Dalwai is also with us. Dr. Dalwai is the spokesperson for the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. Dr. Dalwai, if it can be done in UP, it can be done in Bihar. Something went horribly, horribly wrong here.
Yeah, something is going horribly wrong every year. And what I'd like to say is, the first point is, we should stop treating this like a train accident or a disaster, and then be prepared for the ICU to deal with it. That's the first mistake. Because the ICU, of course, we did a story on Gorakhpur last year, and we know how badly the hospitals are equipped, and we know how the doctors are getting blamed for everything, but that's a different issue here. Here we must understand what are we dealing with in Bihar. Encephalon is the word for the brain. Encephalitis is anything that affects or infects the brain. And like Dr. Nair said, either a virus or a bacteria or a fungus can infect the brain, but also a toxin or a poison can infect the brain. Now let's go to this issue in Muzaffarpur. Over the last 8-10 years, a team of doctors from Indian Academy of Pediatrics, whom I represent, has studied the epidemiology of this condition. So all the children who are falling prey to this encephalitis have a pattern. All of them are malnourished. Most of them are below 5 years of age.
Yes.
Obviously, all of them are impoverished. You see the pictures. You're not seeing any deaths in the hi-fi hospitals. All government hospitals, poor patients. And then this happens just before the onset of monsoon, where the summer is at its peak and where children are dehydrated. So now you have a poor, malnourished child, more females than males, who is malnourished, who perhaps has not been vaccinated, who comes from a family who cannot give him food. And now in this dehydration, in this summer he's dehydrated, he's foraging around for food. Perhaps he comes across some rotting lychee or some other fruit, and then when he eats it, this toxin with a combination of a malnourished, impoverished child at night releases some toxins which decrease the glucose level, like Dr. Monga said. And this is leading to sudden acute hypoglycemia at night, which damages the brain, and suddenly the child is found unconscious, lethargic, drowsy or convulsing in the morning. Then starts the story of reaching out to the local public health center, which is not equipped, which is not trained, finding an ambulance which may not be there, driving all the way a few hundred kilometers away to a city. Now please understand, the Indian Academy of Pediatrics has, the president Dr. Digant Shastri has written to Honorable Cabinet Minister Harshvardhan ji that we are there to help you with it. But please understand what science is saying. Science is saying that all these are preventable if you look at the right place. The prevention doesn't happen in the ICU. Of course, have a great ICU. Yes. But the prevention is in the prevention of malnutrition, in the prevention of low birth weight, in the prevention of premature babies, in adequate vaccination cover. And all of this is rooted in poverty.
Primary health care. Yes. So Dr. Dalwai, I'm going to come back to you. I will come back to you, but we have breaking news that's coming in. The doctors in West Bengal have just called off their week-long strike after meeting with the Chief Minister. In fact, they're addressing the press right now. Our viewers will remember that this snowballed. We'll just listen in.
টেকনিক্যাল ইস্যু নিয়ে কথা বলতে পারি না। আমরা আমাদের মতো করে কিছু দাবি তুলেছিলাম। কি দাবি তুলেছিলাম সেটাও লাইভ মিডিয়া দেখেছে। পুরো যা হয়েছে সবার সামনে হয়েছে। কি বলেছেন উনি সেটাও আমরা সবার সামনে দেখেছি। আপনারা একটা ওয়ার্ড নিয়ে বলতেই পারেন, তাই নিয়ে আমরাও স্লোগানিং করেছি। দেখুন, আমরা বহিরাগত কিনা সেটার উত্তর আমরা নিজেরাই দিয়েছি, আমাদের নিজের ফ্যাটার্নিটি দিয়েছেন। আমরা কিছু পজিটিভ কথা নিয়ে আলোচনা করি, যেরকম আমি আজকের এই মিডিয়ার এই প্রেস মিটিং থেকে একটা সবচেয়ে বড় কথা বলতে চাই, যেটা মাননীয় বলেছেন, ডাক্তারকে মারধর করা যায় না। যে কোনো ইস্যুতে এত সহজে ডাক্তারের গায়ে হাত দেওয়া যায় না। ডাক্তারকে মারধর করে যে আমি বেঁচে যাব, আমার কিছু হবে না, আমি যেভাবে হোক আমি বেরিয়ে চলে যাব, এই সমস্ত ভাবনা থেকে আমাদের যে সোসাইটির একটা ছোট অংশ যে ভাবনা চিন্তা নিয়ে ক্যারি করতো এবং আমাদের ওপর বিভিন্ন সময় বিভিন্ন ঘটনা ঘটতো, তাদের কাছে আমি একটা মেসেজ পৌঁছাতে চাই। আপনারা মাননীয়ার কথা।
Alright, so these are the doctors in West Bengal speaking in Bengali, specifically about the fact that they've had a meeting with the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. They've decided to call off their strike, but they've made their demands very clear. They've also said that no attack on doctors will be tolerated whatsoever, and this they have made extremely clear to the Chief Minister. And we'll come back to a detailed discussion about the matter at 9 p.m. this evening, but I quickly want to cut back to the conversation we were having about encephalitis, and the doctors on the panel, Dr. Dalwai, Dr. Nair and Dr. Monga, telling us very clearly that various things could have been done to prevent these 100 deaths of children. Small children are the ones who die of encephalitis. These things were not done, obviously. Dr. Dalwai, primary health care also, and the fact that, and I just want to draw attention to the fact that Mr. Harshvardhan, the health minister, in 2014 noted that this was a problem and promised to find solutions, including vaccination. Those promises were not kept.
Yeah, so this example, this particular encephalopathy is a very good example of an opportunity to reverse a condition. I'll tell you why. Because we have a particular geographical area, we have located or realized the actual reasons that happen. Now, if you are able to focus on these 3-4 districts, I'm not talking about encephalitis like Japanese encephalitis or infectious diseases. I'm talking about this particular problem in Muzaffarpur. If you are able to focus on these districts and able to make sure, I'm just surprised that today we've reached a political level where elections are fought, where there is a concept of a Panna Pramukh. There each and every voter is reached out to, which is good. I'm saying, why can't we do this for a few lakh people in a particular area only, when you can reach out to 90 crores of a voting population? We just need to make sure that these people, these children are not malnourished, we get them good food, we get them vaccination, we look after the primary. And you're right, you said 1.2% is the health budget. Sri Lanka is 4 times bigger health budget than us. How can you manage? And it's very clear that the focus of the people who lead the country, and I'm not at all talking about any political party, it's the overall view, because it's been the same for so many years. How can we have a country which gives only 1.25% to the health budget and to education budget? This tells us, when you talk about the minister's apathy, that's because there's hardly any attention given to it. And it's very important for the powers that be to realize that we have to bring health into a focus. Otherwise, these children
I just want to bring in Dr. Nair as well. She put her hand up. Dr. Nair, is it the lack of attention from government? Is it the fact that healthcare is so poorly prioritized?
I mean, we have seen that healthcare is being spoken about. I think we have to really focus on primary healthcare. And Dr. Dalwai is right. This is not something that we can deal with on an annual basis when there is an outbreak. There has to be an investment on a regular basis, particularly when we know that there are certain districts that are vulnerable. We have to set up the systems, we have to set up the review mechanisms and monitoring on a regular basis. The last thing, Faye, that I do want to bring up is that we have to also start thinking about those children that survive and are adversely affected. What are we doing about their rehabilitation, both physically and psychologically? And I think that's a very, very big point that we are not focusing on at all.
Well, that's a fair point. We have a question from one of our viewers. Narayan Prasad Sahu says, has the state or the centre done anything substantial so far in this matter? Abhishek Mishra, do you want to answer that question? Has anything been done by government, state or centre? The state government is your ally. What has been done?
Yeah, the Honourable Health Minister, Cabinet Harshvardhan ji, has already said a 100-bed ICU will be set up in that hospital to deal with such cases. Secondly, the biological testing at the Muzaffarpur, that district level, there will be a team set up, there will be a laboratory set up, and where aims from the state capital, from Patna and from Delhi, doctors will come. So there will be a 100 bed ICU set up, there will be a microbiological lab set up. So immediately the testing can be done, and in a 100 ICU bed, most children can be brought. Thirdly, he said that yes, Harshvardhan also said that hot, humid conditions could have a factor, but how does that factor play out in reality with how the encephalitis occurs? But some study should be done. So he has constituted a team for that also. So you have to understand there are conflicts of multiple factors. It's a heat condition, humid condition, with people who are having lack of nutrition, multiple factors, and having lack of they cannot go to hospital soon, or they don't have proper facilities. So if proper hospitalization, beds are available, biological testing is available, if the food is available, I think there are multiple. So state government, I think next we are going to go for the vaccination as in Uttar Pradesh. That once you are vaccinated, you will not have this disease. So in UP we have had a success of global level. I think we'll have it in Bihar also. So Faye, the government has started to act. We are determined and we are sincere and we feel the pain, and in future onwards we'll see that not a single child.
I absolutely appreciate everything you're saying.
Vaccination the government is only for Japanese encephalitis. Yes.
I just want to ask Mr. Abhishek Mishra. Mr. Mishra, you're absolutely right. This government, Mr. Ashwardhan, has just taken over as health minister, and he's promised, you said, 100-bed ICU, a lab that will be set up, a study that will be done, and this new discovery that this government has made of heat, humidity, and lack of nourishment in Bihar as completely new information to you, which we have all known has been a problem in Bihar for a very, very long time. Now, I want to understand from you, why do you think one second. No, let me finish my question. Why do you think the previous government, the one that just finished its term, why did they not do anything between 2014 and 2019? Why has the previous government not done anything? And why is it Mr. Harshvardhan has decided now, in his good wisdom, to start working now? What did the previous government do? Tell me.
No, see, Faye, do not make such kind of sarcastic remarks about people's lives. I request you, folded hands. Secondly, now with regards to, there was already a SOP in place. There was a standing operative procedure in place.
What was it?
Yes, I agree with you that there was a SOP, proper SOP. Doctors have been trained. There was a system how to deal with it.
But why 100 babies dead?
We could not, at a level of what we faced, the system was not ready for that. And hence a 100-bed, a lab,
Whose
a study.
Whose job is it to make the system ready?
And Minister has said that in future will ensure.
In future? How many babies have to die before the minister's words come true?
No, Faye. You have to, Faye, you have to understand.
I understand perfectly, Mr. Mishra, that you did nothing for the last 5 years when you were in government, and now you're making these promises again. Tell me what has been done in the last 5 years since Mr. Harshvardhan's first promise in 2014. What have you done?
No, No, listen. There, step by step, it's been done. Yes, there has been a delay due to which, and we'll do it soon now. Harshvardhan ji has said we'll do it soon, and you must trust that Harshvardhan ji.
Why should I trust? Show me the evidence. Why should I trust? Give me evidence to trust. Give me evidence.
See, Faye, it's about people's life. I do not want to get such kind of argument. It is about people's life. Try to feel the pain, the sincerity.
Well, I certainly feel the pain more than the cricket score, which is more than what we can say for government right now, Mr. Mishra. The government's track record, as far as this is concerned, has been abysmal, closer to zero than any cricket score that you would have ever seen. And there is no evidence whatsoever to show us that we can trust the government's promises this time. Dr. Dalwai, go ahead.
Focus on 100 beds. Please give some hope to the people. Say, speak on 100, not on cricket, yeah. Please speak on the 100 beds coming up.
Mr. Mishra, what is the deadline for the 100-bed ICU? 1 second. What is the deadline for the 100-bed ICU? When will it be ready?
No, as soon as possible. On a war footing. As soon as possible. The cabinet minister has given.
Give it to me in a measure of time.
As soon as possible.
A measure of time. 1 week, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
Ashwini ji can say, maybe I can ask and let you know next time.
So, how am I supposed to give hope to the people?
Because he is the cabinet minister.
How are we to give hope to the people without a deadline?
The bed will be made. Yes, that at Muzaffarpur level, there will be a testing, biological testing.
When?
Please try to understand, Faith.
When will that be done?
Hope. Have faith. Have faith in our government.
Faith, Mr. Mishra, faith is when you believe without evidence. I have no interest in faith. I like evidence. Please tell me, when will this be ready? When will this lab be ready? Give me a deadline.
Okay, next time whenever I come for a debate, I'll inform you. I'll ask Harshvardhan's office and inform you. I assure you for that. Yeah.
I would appreciate that the next time you come for a debate, you come with some information. Dr. Dalwai, go ahead.
Thank you.
Dr. Mishra, Mr. Mishra, and I believe you're a doctor, so I just like to tell you that I don't doubt your intentions. I believe you have good intentions. You're the spokesperson. So while putting out your point of view, I am happy if you're also able to take in some things which we might share. And the message I'm sharing to you from the Indian Academy of Pediatrics is, we want to be involved with the government and try and help you get it right. And I would be happy if you can take this message. So the other point that I'd like to tell you is that, and I don't blame you for not knowing the medical details because you're not a doctor, as you said. A paper has been written and published by Dr. Jacob John, past president of the Academy, Dr. Arun Shah, who's from Muzaffarpur, and Dr. Das from Delhi, where they have established the role of these toxins, which I mentioned earlier. That paper is in academic and public domain. My point is, having a 100-bed ICU is a great step. I'm sure it will benefit hundreds of babies. But what we are talking now is a different issue, and that has to be tackled from today till next February in these districts where we are seeing the problem. And I have had an opportunity to meet the Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Nitish Kumar, on the issue of malnutrition about 8-9 years back. Unfortunately, in the last few years, that has gone down. My point is, if Bihar looks at a very good nutritional model at all across the state, and not only Bihar, most other states in India also, I'm not singling you out, but if we look at these regions, if we look at these districts and ensure maximum 100% vaccination, not only of Japanese encephalitis, but the regular vaccination program of the government, if we look at the food, the nutrition of pregnant ladies and lactating mothers, if we look at the nutrition of under 2, which doesn't get covered in the midday meal scheme, it gets in the Anganwadi. But we have to reach across, and the reason I'm making this plea to you is because it's a social issue, it's to deal with poverty. So unless you take it from the government,
I request the Mirror Now team kindly share your number with me. I'll take you to the health minister.
Willing to come and
I assure you.
Patna.
Mr. Dr. Dalwai, I really appreciate the earnestness with which you are calling out all of these details, but I must point out to you that these reports, 1 second, Mr. Mishra, these reports and this information has been available with the government since 1994. You don't need me to collate what my panel is telling you and give it to you so you can hand it over to the health ministry like it's brand new information. The first cases of AES in Bihar occurred in 1994. It's ridiculous to even suggest that you have to wait for a TV channel to convene a panel that will tell you what to do. The health minister himself is a doctor.
Faye, listen. No. What I'm saying is, no. What I'm saying is, if the honorable minister on your panel, if he has some good views, I'm ready to take him along to the health minister. He can express the views. For the welfare of India, we are ready to do everything. 24 hours of our life we dedicated to Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So if he has a view, I'm ready to take him. I'm saying, please share his number with me.
Dr. Monga is with the IMA Hospital Board of India. Dr. Monga, could you tell us how many reports, in your opinion, have been submitted to the various governments of Bihar and maybe the central government about dealing with this particular issue? And I'm going to ask all of my panelists this question.
I'll tell you one thing. In a country where a 8th class or 10th class pass out becomes the health minister, health is not a priority for the governments. 1.2% of the GDP goes into health. Malnutrition is 30 to 40% of children in the country are malnourished. They are not vaccinated at all. All the figures are fictitious. The level of monitoring is almost nil. Whatever money comes from the center has been, I mean, you have seen the scams in UP in health also. And all these things, and when, I mean, a patient has to travel 100 kilometers to go to a okay center, and there is no ambulance available, no transport available, you cannot expect anything better than this, madam. This is number one. Number two, awareness, malnutrition. I mean, Dr. Darbari is very right. I mean, unless you improve, when you can give midday meal to children in your schools, why can't you provide these type of meals in localities or clusters where they are not able to feed their children? And then on top of it, they have to be told that, I mean, for example, in this season, don't take lychees. The children who are malnourished should not take it. And if they take it, let them have a full meal also. And then, I mean, there should be constant monitoring about the patient, children's health also. So these are the basic things. I mean, nothing, I mean, there is nothing like a, you know, ICU will be good, but you must have a primary health center which is at least equipped to find out whether it is an emergency or it is not an emergency. This is the basic thing. Preventive health in the country is almost negligible anywhere. I mean, you go to a block center, you go to a primary health center, they're not equipped. 40 to 50% of the posts of doctors and paramedical staff, even in the biggest hospitals of the country, are vacant. The conditions, working conditions are atrocious. And then you cannot expect anything better than this. Definitely we need a role where state plays a role, the center plays a role. They are serious about it. That is the thing. We have to be serious about it. We are not.
Well, I'm going to leave it on that note, but it's terribly unfortunate that this is occurring. Just to give our viewers an idea, these cases first began to occur in 1994. We've had enough time to study this. We've had enough doctors, enough expertise, enough reports in front of various governments telling them how to solve the problem. In fact, if the government needed a refresher course, the state of Uttar Pradesh has only just in the last 1 year managed to put together a very efficient program that has brought down the number of deaths from encephalitis in the state. Why couldn't Bihar do the same? What is the Nitish Kumar government doing? Why is it Mr. Harshvardhan of the central government is making the same promises he made 5 years ago that were not kept? Why is healthcare so poorly paid attention to and so low on our priority here in our country? How many more children have to die before the right action is taken? We're going to take a quick break here, and on the other side, we'll come back to why the Karnataka government thinks it's fit to feed the poorest children of the state worms and insects. On the other side.